Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Libra. Alright, my lovely Libras, we are going to be covering the November 10th to the 16th time period. And of course the full moon reading and your sign is up and the link is in the top of the description. You can see it while you're viewing this video. And for those of you who are regulars on my channel, you know we're going to get right into pulling out your romance angel messages, and then we'll get into your animal spirits for this week. And then we'll pull out the actual forecast with the traditional tarot deck. All right, we have stay optimistic about your love life. It's safe for you to love. And we have very soon. So clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Things are manifesting for you. So this is a time to be very clear in your intention. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into pulling out your animal spirits. Again, we're not going to really know exactly how these messages apply to you until we actually get into your spreads. Now, animal spirits are additional energies that we look at that may or may not be coming available to you this week to help you through something or to encourage you, right? They can also represent paths or stages in our lives that are happening or that we're entering into. Or they can also represent characteristics or personality traits of individuals that we are dealing with in our lives, right? Lovers, family, friends, etc. So if it applies to you, great. If not, just disregard. We know that this reading can't possibly be for all Libras. So let's get right into it. We have bee energy, air energy. And this animal spirit does come up a lot for your readings, Libra. We have also the lamb, earth energy. And we have dragonfly has shown up already. Lamb and dragonfly have shown up for other readings already, so that is, of course, another air element. And so let's get right into it. The bee is, of course, the great Democrat in the animal spirit deck. Bee is representative of the person who really is enthusiastic about working as part of a team. They bring a lot of creativity and flair to whatever they do. They're really, really hard workers. This is the person who's not going to let you down. This is the person who's going to show up when they say they're going to be there. They're just a generally pleasant, hard-working individual to be around. This is also the person in the group who's always going to make sure that everyone is okay, that everyone is being treated fairly, or everyone's feelings and opinions are being considered. And in this way, the bee is very much for the health of the colony, right? And understanding that, right? Because bees live in colonies. Very, very nice personality to be around. Lamb energy is earth energy, and the lamb really requires a lot of stillness and quiet and gentleness, right? Lamb energy can indicate the birth of a project or a creative endeavor. Can also indicate the birth of a child. But whatever the case is, it indicates a need for a gentle and protective environment to allow something to grow, right? To allow something precious to grow. And so in this way, lamb energy really calls for a bit of a stillness right now, a bit of gentleness right now, attention, nurturing, and care. And this is, of course, in a very practical, earthly way. Now, the dragonfly is, of course, the lord of light and illusion. And in this way, the dragonfly is associated with the mind. The mind is very light and supple and quick and very shimmery. Oftentimes, something is not as clear as we think it necessarily is because of our perceptions. This is all to do with the mind, and it's associated with the dragonfly. Dragonfly energy comes into our lives at a time when we should be taking care to look into things a little bit closer, right? Things aren't as they seem on the surface, and we may have a perception of things that is, in fact, not relative to the reality, right? That is not indicative of what's really happening. And so it's at times like this that we want to take care to really keep ourselves grounded, To, you know, take our own sort of perceptions with a pinch of salt and to maybe look a little bit deeper, because we could be incorrect about something or incorrect about a particular scenario that we are perceiving to be a certain way. All right, guys, so let's get right into your spread. We're going to pull out anywhere from 4 to 8 3-card spreads for you, Libra, to see what kind of events may be coming into your life this week, what kind of energies are going on. We look at the energy you're coming into the week with, the energy that's meeting you, and the general outcome of that encounter. And so again, just take what applies to you and disregard the rest. And here we go right into your first forecast. These forecasts are different. They're not necessarily related to each other. And again, you may resonate with one or more or none of them. And again, that's also fine. Straight out, we have Queen of Swords. We have 9 of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles. So some of you start off the week really being kind of wanting to have a conversation, wanting to have an important conversation with somebody, and wanting really to get to the heart of the matter. Queen of Swords talks about really laying your cards on the table, right? In a particular dynamic. Certainly talks about wanting to get clarity, but wanting to get clarity about somebody's identity, right? The Queen of Swords is all about cutting away false masks, false identities, personas that we take on and display to the world that aren't really who we truly are. And so her sword of truth, her truth-seeking sword basically is aimed at that particular issue, right? Beckoning people to come before her and to show her who they truly are. The Queen of Swords has herself gone through the journey of finding out who she is, and it's been a difficult journey, right? Pulling away that mask that we wear to the outside world, but she requires that all of those who are in her presence do the same thing. And so in this way, you're really challenging a particular scenario this week. You're met with a 9 of Pentacles. And so I'm going to say that this desire to kind of see what's really going on and to see into the heart of the different people or scenario that you're dealing with, right, is to do with your career, because you're very much met with the 9 of Pentacles in the sense that I'm going to say that you're finding yourself really alienated in a lot of ways, right? This energy that you're coming in with is not necessarily the type of energy that you're being met with. And I'm going to say this could be part of a project that you're working with together. Again, B energy, working in projects is at hand. I want to say that it may be a particular work project or business project, right? Where you are in a particular position, perhaps of authority, or you may be taking on the position of rooting out any kind of problems in the dynamic or in the project. And I think you're finding yourself alone in this, right? You may be finding yourself kind of on a singular quest, right, that nobody else is really concerned about. You may indeed feel like it's important for the longevity of the project or the progress of the project, but you seem to be very alone in this, because 9 of Pentacles talks about working away on something ambitiously, but being very alienated from others, right? For whatever reason, it could be the way that you're working or what have you, right? And so I'm going to say for some of you, this kind of idealistic stance that you've taken, you may have taken it at work, right? You may have taken it at work. You may have taken on perhaps somebody's argument or somebody's fight, and you're finding yourself alone now. You're finding yourself sort of alienated. You're good at what you do, right? You're good at what you do, and it's not necessarily affecting you financially in any bad way, but you certainly find yourself alone in this endeavor. You end off the week with a Page of Pentacles, and I think that somebody's going to come into you to help you practically with this situation. This could even be a case of you trying to start a union at work, or to start some kind of, I want to say, political, pseudo-social initiative, right, with that B energy. Excuse me. But you're finding out this week that later on this week, as you come towards the end of the week, not only do you find out it's going to be a lot more work that you have to put into it, you probably will be alone in this initiative. However, there is some real practical energy and help that comes in, and it could come in the form of a person who is finally sort of seeing what, seeing your agenda, seeing that you're on to something, right? But in some kind of way, whether it's a person or whether it's a set of circumstances that come in, there's an energy that you end the week off where it's like you find some real practical solutions to try to get over this hump that you have in this initiative in which you're trying to really connect, I think, with people at your job or in your business in some way. Ace of Pentacles, star energy, and justice. Again, I want to say this is going to feel like a case of rectifying an injustice or finding equality in something, right? Ace of Pentacles comes in, so you come into this week with a really amazing opportunity, right? And you are kind of met with star energy in the sense that this opportunity that you come into the week with that meets you head on is an opportunity for you, it's like an opportunity to fulfill sort of a lifelong ambition for you, right? Or a really important ambition that is close to your heart. But it is an ambition to do with your career. It's an ambition that has something to do with your career, finances, business, the material realm. But it's an opportunity to work in that area in a way that really, really speaks to sort of an ultimate ambition you have for yourself, right? I'm going to say that so far this reading this week is really resonating a lot with all three of these animal spirit energies, in a sense that so far it seems to have been on the subject matter of something that's working for the community. Because again, justice comes in, and I want to say that you end the week feeling as though you are on the path to achieving an initiative or a goal that is very sort of socially orientated, right? Socially sort of focused, whether it be to, work in some way for equality or for the vulnerable in our society, or some kind of altruistic or humanitarian sort of initiative. And this is what this is turning into. And it's very nice that this starts off as almost like a golden opportunity. An example could be somebody who comes in and who has a lot of money to invest suddenly in a community group that you've been wanting to sort of set up, right? And wow, in comes this golden opportunity, and there you have your justice, in a sense that you feel as though equality is coming in. You're in a sense that also, in a world where only kind of like, it seems as though only the rich and the privileged, right, oftentimes get ahead. This feels very much like a case of the underdog having its day, right? Now, I'm not saying that that is the case, that's always the case, but I'm saying in this scenario, it feels justice comes in because it almost feels like you feel very vindicated. You feel like you're working for something that is considered like working for the underdog. And it feels like life and the events around it are favoring it very, very much. And in this way, justice and equality is coming in balance. Three of Pentacles, Tower moment, and Seven of Wands. Again, this is talking about working in a group. And Three of Pentacles talks about working in a group, working with the larger community, or having attention drawn to the work that you do by a larger community. But you're faced with a Tower moment. Something happens. I'm going to say this is going to be a case of dragonfly energy too. Something happens this week where you find out things were not the way you thought they were, and you end off the week in a real sort of defensive stance, having to do a lot of damage control, right? Having to do a lot of damage control, having to suddenly come up with some really creative solutions to some obstacles that are suddenly presented themselves as a result of this Tower moment, which is all because you may have been thinking that something has been working away, or maybe it has been working away, but something was missed, or you didn't really have the whole picture, and now, boom, the Tower moment comes, and you find yourself really playing catch up, really playing like, you know, you're having to sort of stem the tide in a way of everything falling apart, or it could also feel very much like it's you against the world having to fix whatever's gone wrong, right? I want to say this is very much a case, again, of something that you're working on, some kind of initiative or project that has to do with the larger community. And in this case, I feel very much like you've been depending possibly on some other individuals to help you along, and you find out that you couldn't really depend on them, and you find yourself having to face kind of the wrath and all of the chaos that ensues. Six of Wands, Death card, and the Ace of Swords. So for some of you, wow, you start off the week with a real victory, right? A victory in a particular endeavor or a project, a victory sort of wills, as it were, right? You feel vindicated. It's a very public victory. Everybody sees that, you know, you were right, or you have been validated, vindicated. You have been sort of, you know, you have gotten your day, right? This is the dog having its day, as it were, right? And so you come into the week with a lot of victory and optimism, but there's a big change. You're met head on by a big change in your life and in this sort of path that you're on. I think that is a result of this, obviously as a result of this victory that you've had coming in, and you end the week beginning on a whole new path, right? I think it's the beginning of a whole new way of thinking about a particular endeavor, or perhaps about the tactic or the strategy that you're using to accomplish something, right? And this is all changed as a result of this victory coming in. Could very well be that this victory was something that you were not expecting, right? And it's really opened your eyes to handling a situation in a different way than you normally do. And so in this way, transformation has come in. A lot of change has come in. It could even be that you're working in a particular initiative again, or a particular project, and you change the entire strategy going forward because you have had your eyes opened to a more winning strategy here. And so you move forward with this Ace of Swords to sort of like, we got it. We got the golden formula. We got the answer. You know, we found what works, and now we are adjusting and everything is changing. We're going to move forward with this idea. And it really does promise to bring much more victory in the future. I'm going to leave it there for you, Libra. This is a week for a lot of my weekly reading, this reading certainly, and the forecasts have been very related for a Libra who is working in the community in some way this week, certainly working on something very passionate, very close to their hearts, a humanitarian effort in some way, shape, or form. And this week really promises to be the reward for that work promises to start coming in this week. You start to get reaffirmations that what you have been doing is working. And again, we do have that full moon, so check out the full moon for Libra. But for right now, I'm going to call it. This is your weekly reading, November 10th to the 16th, Libra. I do hope it resonated with you. And if it did, please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to hit the bell notification so you know when I'm premiering my next video. I do premiere them all. But for right now, I'm going to say, Libra, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.